Hey guys, hello, good afternoon or good noon to you. We are getting ready to go into our Friday Freeview for this week, looking at some official ACT test questions that we've had in the group over this past week, Monday through Thursday. And I've got the first one up here for us. It says, when x equals 1/2, what is the value of 8x minus 3 over x? Guys, this is a good old use your calculator kind of problem, right? So let me just get something to write with here so I can clearly show you what we're going to be putting in the calculator. I think I am able to write now. Okay, so they told us exactly what x is. That means we just need to take that information and substitute it in for x in both spots. And you can work this out by hand if you wanted to. You put the 1/2 right here, minus 3, and then all of that is over another 1/2. You can certainly work that out, but what I'm going to do is take this entire expression and plug it into my calculator. Okay, so we're going to come over to the calculator and make sure I can write. There we go. All right, so I want a fraction, so I'm going to press my fraction button, ABC over here, and then I'm going to put 8, just like I have it written out, is exactly how I'm typing it in my calculator. So parenthesis, then there's another fraction, so ABC button again, 1/2. Close that up, minus 3, all over fraction again, 1/2. Okay. Execute, and it gives me the answer as just 2, whole number 2, and I'm done. Okay. And to me, that saves me a lot of time versus me finding out half of 8, and then minus 3, and then dividing by that fraction. Just, it could be more time consuming than just typing it in. So I suggest just use this gem, use this gift of the test. This is one of those ones where they're really like just giving it to you. Plug it into your calculator, get the answer quickly, and move on. Okay. So this one, the correct answer is G. G was the correct answer to that one. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's clear this out. Okay, geometry problem or algebra if we teach that in algebra 1 as well. In the standard XY coordinate plane, what is the midpoint of the line segment that has endpoints 3, 8 and 1, -4? Okay, so definitely a geometry problem when we talk about midpoints in the coordinate plane. There's a formula for it. You should have it memorized. The ACT does not provide any formulas for you, so make sure you remember this information. But midpoint is the point in the middle. So if you didn't remember the formula, you might think, well, I can just plot these 2 points, and then I can figure out which point is the middle between these 2 points. And you might be able to eliminate some answer choices that are ridiculous because they're not even between the 2 points, or they don't look like they're in the middle, and you can eliminate them. You absolutely could do that. In this case, I think it's really simple to know the formula. So we're going to do that now. The formula is taking the x coordinates and averaging them, and then taking the y coordinates and averaging them. So when I say average, that means add them together and divide by 2. So we're looking at 3 plus 1 divided by 2, and 8 plus a -4 divided by 2. Okay? This gives you your x coordinate. This gives you your y coordinate. 3 plus 1 is 4, over 2 is 2. 8 minus 4 is 4, over 2 is 2. Okay, so it's kind of quick to just go through it head on. But like I said, if you didn't remember the formula, you could get kind of handy and clever and plot, kind of sketch the points in the coordinate plane and then have a visual and then think which of these appears to be in the middle, and you can get to the answer of D. All right, so we're halfway there, guys, of going through our Freeview Friday. Thank you again for viewing, and if you have any questions about these problems, then just let me know. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, let me make sure you can see the entire problem here. Moment. Okay. All right, it's not letting me. I can make it bigger. I just can't make it any smaller. Okay, so the fluctuation of water depth at a pier is shown in the figure below. One of the following values gives the positive difference in feet between the greatest water depth and the least water depth shown in this graph. Which value is it? Okay, it says one of the values, one of these answer choices gives the positive difference in feet between the greatest water depth and the least water depth shown in the graph. Okay, so we need to know what is the greatest and the least water depths. Okay, so if I'm looking here, my depth is the y-axis, and this appears to be the highest point. Looks like 12. I'm not able to draw again. It's like 12 is the highest. Okay. And it appears that the lowest is 6 in both of those. Okay. So we're doing the difference between 12 and 6. The difference between 12 and 6, 12 minus 6 is 6, so that's going to be G. So sometimes they read a little bit more confusing than they actually are. You needed to interpret this problem as saying that the difference, all right, so we know we're subtracting, but subtracting what? And here's your clue. The greatest depth and the least depth. That's what you were looking for. Subtracting the greatest depth and the least depth, and that was it, but you just needed to be able to pick it out of the question. All right, last one for this week. All right, here we're going back to an algebra problem talking about slope. It says, what is the slope of the line through the points -2, 1 and 2, -5? So there's a slope formula you can absolutely use for this. You do have to have it memorized, or you could plot the points and like count the slope by doing rise over run. This is a time test. You got to think about how much time you have. Plotting points might take too long for a problem like this when you absolutely should know how to calculate the slope from memory. Like you should have that formula memorized. It is one of your key topics on the math checklist that I provided. If you have not downloaded your free copy of the ultimate checklist of all of the must-know math topics on the ACT math exam, then you need to do that. I will drop that link with this video, and you'll see slope is definitely on there. You need to have it memorized. So make sure you get your copy of that checklist. So the formula for slope from 2 points is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's our slope formula. It's the change in y over the change in x, the difference between the y coordinates over the difference between the x coordinates. Okay, so I could call this point 1 and this point 2. Therefore, this would be x1 And this would be y1, this would be x2, this would be y2. And then I just substitute the numbers in accordingly into the formula. And then if it's kind of easy and straightforward, you can do it by hand. If not, you can just plug it into your calculator to get the right answer. So y2 is -5, then minus y1 is 1 over x2 is 2 minus x1 is -2. So there is a double negative there. So I can plug this directly into my calculator as is and let it do the work for me. So this is a fraction. I'll do fraction on top. Then there's two different buttons on my calculator. One is specifically for negative, and then there's a different button for minus. So -5 minus 1 down technology. Then 2 minus -2. Execute, and you get -3/2. Okay, so the calculator will do the work for you, provided you type it in correctly. Right? If you did it by hand, you could do -5 minus 1 is -6. 2 minus -2 turns into +4, and then you can reduce this -6/4. Your calculator will do that as well. If I do -6/4, it will simplify it for me. If I type it in correctly, it'll simplify it for me. So that is the correct answer to the last one, -3/2, which is D. Okay. Congratulations to all of you that participated in the daily ACT questions from this week and got them correct. So proud of you guys. Come back to the group next week where we will go over the questions as well. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. I will see you next week.